two titans of history, Alexander of Macedonia and Darius III of Persia, their rivalry would shape an era. This isn't just a tale of two kings, but a tale of two worlds colliding. Alexander, a young, ambitious king hailing from the frosty peaks of Macedonia, was eager to stamp his mark on history. Darius III, on the other hand, was an experienced ruler of the mighty Persian Empire, a civilization steeped in grandeur and tradition. Their paths were destined to cross, and when they did, sparks flew. Alexander, with his innovative military tactics and relentless drive, sought to expand his empire, while Darius III, with his vast resources and seasoned army, aimed to defend his realm. Their respective kingdoms, Macedonia and Persia, became the stage for an epic showdown. The tension between these two powers, the clash of their armies, and the resulting conflict would reverberate through the annals of history. The stage was set for a legendary confrontation that would change the very course of history. The tension between Macedonia and Persia was not a sudden spark, but a slow-burning fuse. As we wade into the waters of history, we find that the rivalry between Alexander the Great and Darius III was born out of an intricate web of geopolitical tensions. Their conflict was more than a personal vendetta. It was a clash of civilizations, a tussle for dominance between the rising power of Macedonia and the established might of the Persian Empire. The stage was set centuries earlier. Persia, a sprawling empire, had long been a looming presence over the smaller, fragmented states of Greece. With its vast wealth and formidable army, Persia was the behemoth of the ancient world. However, its earlier invasions of Greece had left a bitter taste, a resentment that simmered in the hearts of the Greeks. On the other hand, Macedonia, under the reign of Philip II, Alexander's father, had been growing in strength. Philip had transformed Macedonia into a military powerhouse, uniting the fragmented Greek city-states into a single entity. This was a new Greece, one that was ready to challenge the Persian hegemony. The tension escalated when Alexander ascended the throne. Young, ambitious, and fiercely intelligent, Alexander was not content with merely defending his borders. He harbored dreams of conquest, of spreading Greek culture and influence far and wide. And the most glittering prize of all was Persia. By taking on Persia, Alexander was not just seeking territory, he was seeking a place in the annals of history. The cultural differences further fueled the conflict. The Greeks saw themselves as the torchbearers of democracy and philosophy, while they viewed the Persians as decadent and despotic. Conversely, the Persians viewed the Greeks as unruly upstarts, challenging the established order. With the stage set, it was only a matter of time before the two great powers clashed. The ensuing battles and their outcomes would be etched in the sands of time, shaping the course of history in ways no one could have predicted. The first real test of Alexander's military prowess came at the Battle of Granicus. In the spring of 334 BC, Alexander led his Greek and Macedonian forces into Asia Minor, present-day Turkey. Here, he encountered a sizable Persian force, commanded by a group of Persian satraps or governors along the Granicus River. The Battle of Granicus was not just a clash of swords and shields, but a contest of strategies and wills. The Persians, confident in their higher ground advantage, decided to position themselves on the steep eastern bank of the river. Alexander, on the other hand, had a different plan. He attacked at dusk when the river's current was at its weakest. This move demonstrated his audacious nature and his keen understanding of the elements of surprise and timing in warfare. The Persian forces, expecting a traditional head-on assault, were caught off guard. Alexander, at the helm of his companion cavalry, led a daring charge across the river, plunging straight into the heart of the Persian line. The Persian ranks buckled under the onslaught, leading to a swift Macedonian victory. The significance of this triumph cannot be overstated. It was Alexander's first major victory over the Persian Empire, marking the beginning of his legendary campaign. The Battle of Granicus not only demonstrated Alexander's tactical brilliance, but also his extraordinary courage and leadership. He showed that he was willing and able to lead from the front, inspiring immense loyalty and morale amongst his troops. Moreover, the victory at Granicus had far-reaching consequences. It opened the gates of Asia Minor to Alexander, paving the way for his march towards the heart of the Persian Empire. It also sent a clear message to other Persian satraps and to Darius III himself. Alexander was not just another Greek general, he was a formidable adversary. The Battle of Granicus was a decisive victory for Alexander, but the greatest challenges were yet to come. This victory was just the prelude to a series of epic confrontations between Alexander and Darius III, shaping an era and leaving an indelible mark on the annals of history. The Battle of Issus would prove to be a turning point in the war. A clash between two titans, Alexander the Great and Darius III, the stage was set for a battle that would echo through the annals of history. In the heart of the narrow coastal plain of Issus, the two armies came face to face. Alexander, leading a force of around 40,000, faced Darius, who commanded an army almost 5 times larger. Yet, underestimating Alexander's tactical brilliance would be a fatal error for the Persian king. Alexander, a master strategist, displayed his genius in his deployment of troops. His phalanx, the backbone of his army, was placed at the center, while he positioned himself on the right with his elite companion cavalry. The left flank was entrusted to Parmenion, his trusted general. This formation was designed to exploit the Persian line's weaknesses and disrupt their formation. As battle commenced, Alexander led a fearless charge against the Persian right flank. His companion cavalry, renowned for their discipline and skill, cut through the enemy lines like a hot knife through butter. Simultaneously, the phalanx held firm against the Persian center, their long spears in tight formation proving an impenetrable shield. Meanwhile, Darius watched from his position at the back, his chariot caught in the press of his own men. The sight of Alexander cutting a swath through his troops sent a wave of panic through the Persian king. He turned his chariot around and fled, leaving his army leaderless and in disarray. The Macedonians, seeing their enemy's king in flight, were emboldened. The Persian lines crumbled, and the Battle of Issus turned into a rout. By the end, the Persian casualties were enormous, while Alexander's losses were remarkably light. The Battle of Issus was a crushing defeat for Darius III and a significant victory for Alexander. It marked a turning point in the war, shifting the balance of power irreversibly in Alexander's favor. This battle was not just a demonstration of Alexander's military prowess, but also a testament to his indomitable spirit and unyielding resolve. Alexander was not just a military genius, he was a master of psychological warfare. In the grand chessboard of warfare, the mind is as critical a battlefield as any physical terrain. Alexander, a prodigious student of Aristotle, understood this truth intimately. He recognized the immense power of fear, morale, and perception in the theater of war. Alexander's psychological tactics took many forms. One of his most potent weapons was his own persona. From his distinctive attire to his fearless frontline leadership, Alexander cultivated an image of invincibility. His aim was clear: to instill unshakable confidence in his troops and a sense of impending doom in his adversaries. His speeches were another powerful tool. Alexander had a unique ability to inspire his men, to kindle their spirits in the face of overwhelming odds. He painted vivid pictures of glory and honor, of a shared destiny that transcended the mere acquisition of land or wealth. His words could ignite a fire in the hearts of his men, a fire that could burn through the fog of fear and uncertainty. Alexander also used deception and misinformation to confound his enemies. He would often feign retreats, only to launch devastating counterattacks. He understood the power of surprise and the element of the unknown in sowing chaos and fear in enemy ranks. To intimidate the Persian forces, Alexander adopted elements of their culture and symbols of power. He began dressing like a Persian king, a psychological move designed to unsettle his opponents. This tactic also aimed to undermine Darius III's authority and position himself as the rightful ruler. Moreover, he used the captured family members of Darius III, not as mere hostages, but as a psychological ploy. He treated them with respect and kindness, further eroding the standing of Darius among his own people. Alexander's use of psychological warfare was instrumental in his victories, and his mastery of it would become a key aspect of his legend. This narrative showcases the innovative and strategic mind behind the warrior, the man who not only conquered lands, but also the minds of men. In the aftermath of these epic battles, the implications for both leaders were immense. Alexander, victorious and emboldened, began to display a darker side of his character. His ambition, once a driving force for his conquests, started to transform into a relentless tyranny. The spoils of war and the intoxication of power began to cloud his judgment. He was no longer just the youthful king of Macedonia, but a supreme ruler whose authority was unchallenged and whose desires were unchecked. On the other hand, Darius III was left to contend with not only the loss of his empire, but also his own personal failure. He had underestimated his adversary, and now he was paying the price. His strategy had to shift from offense to desperate defense, his armies demoralized, his empire in pieces. The rivalry between Alexander and Darius III, two titans of history, had irrevocably shaped an era.